اللي شو رأيك بهالشيل دوخ الكل شو خطير تعال نحكي عن جيلي وجيلك نسمع جنواو للأخير. Hi Kamal.
Hi Ghaliaa.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
شو الأخبار? You doing okay?
Alhamdulillah.
How does your day usually go?
My day, it has to start with at least 2 coffees.
2?
Yes.
Not 1?
Not 1. One
okay.
followed by the next one in half an hour.
Okay.
And so I put up the adrenaline and everything, set up a mood. And then usually in the morning I like to do more intellectual work, more business-oriented stuff. Because my morning is not very early. It's like starts like 10, 11, you know.
Yeah.
If I happen to wake up very early, then it's different. I do creative things. Like I write lyrics, or maybe compose music, or study something. Because, you know, the mind is very fresh in the morning.
Okay.
So you can learn.
You still study?
Of course.
Wow.
Of course.
I feel like a lot of artists at one point when they hit, I don't know, a target or, how do we say, like a certain goal, they just give up on learning more information and they just take advantage of whatever they have at the moment.
You know, I have a pile of things to study, and since 20 years piling up more and more even, that I barely have the time to really fulfill this. I wish I could study all that. You know,
interesting.
The things that I want to study.
What can you tell us about your upbringing? Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Okay, my father is from a Palestinian origin. He's been living in Jordan for a long time, but we started in Kuwait. Let's say that.
Wow.
Because my parents met in Kuwait. My mother is half Lebanese, half Palestinian.
Okay.
My parents met in Kuwait. Both my grandfather of my mother was working there. My father was working there. They met there, and I was born there. I lived until 1979 in Kuwait. So I have 9 years. I'm born 1970 until 79.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved to Jordan. Because that was the safest place to go to. You know.
Where in Jordan? Amman?
Jordan, Amman.
Amman, cool.
Yes.
And then
and I grew up in Jordan. My school was in Jordan. My university was in Jordan, north of Jordan, in Irbid.
Nice.
I studied architecture at the Jordan University of Science and Technology.
Wow. Okay.
And then I was so much into architecture, because I paint, I draw, design and all. And then I wanted to continue a master, so I went first to Switzerland to start a master. I couldn't get the scholarship I was aiming for, so I moved to France, because France education is, public education is very cheap and affordable. So I went to France and I did my master's in Lyon, in France. It was in design management for 1.5 years, and then I started to work as an architect, as a designer in France for 1 year as a freelancer.
At that time, you had no idea what you were going to do with music.
I had no idea that music is going to become my career. But music was there all the time. Since I play since 3 years old. My first instrument was the accordion in the school at 5 years old. I had the accordion, but it was so heavy. And my elder cousin was playing a guitar, which is so light and nice, and you know, all the girls want to look at me with the accordion. It's like
it's a great instrument, actually. Yeah.
But I loved the sound of it, but it was very heavy for a kid, you know.
Yeah.
I still have that accordion.
Oof.
And then I wanted a guitar, so I was begging my parents to, you know,
for a guitar.
At 9 years old, I got my first guitar, and then we were just moving to Jordan. In Jordan, it developed, you know. You know, bit by bit.
What were you listening to at that time?
Good question. Through my upbringing in the 70s, my mother was the drive force for all that. You know,
wow.
And she was playing Arabic pop of the time, of course. A lot of Ferouz, a lot of Asmahan, a lot of ABBA, Bonnie M, Demis Roussos,
Mom is obsessed with ABBA.
all these things.
Yeah.
And flamenco.
Flamenco is a big one.
Flamenco. We went to Spain when I was 7 years old, and I was fascinated by this country.
Flamenco culture, yeah.
Wow. The passion, the colors, the guitar world. So guitar went into my spirit like, whoa.
Yeah.
From that age, you know. And I continued. So
there's this, sorry to cut you off, there's this amazing musician I met actually in Jordan. He once said, because he's a multi-instrumentalist as well, and he was like, the instrument chooses me. I do not choose what instrument I want to play. And I was like, it makes sense, but when you're a multi-instrumentalist, it's like you have a different character with each instrument. It's like you have a split personality.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And I already have a split personality. I'm a Gemini. You know?
Oh, that's by nature.
Yeah. So I allocate each one of them to one instrument. But I think the second personality came out more clearly when I was about 15. You know?
Okay.
I was too much into guitar. Then I left the guitar for a few years, you know, from age of like 13 until 16, 17. But in that time, the oud invaded my spirit. The oud, you know, so I was listening to recordings of Farid Al-Atrash on cassettes. It's like, wow, this is so deep, you know, and so expressive and so much connected to me, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I love guitar so much, but the oud was something else. It was like haunting me, you know. And I wanted to play like him.
Farid Al-Atrash. Yes,
he was my first influence. So I was digging all his cassettes, whatever available in the market, whatever on TV. At that time, you know, I'm talking 1987, 88. You know.
Wow.
You know, we had barely cassettes. That's it.
Right.
So I was trying to collect as much as possible material and listen and copy and try to imitate, try to understand by ear what is he playing, because it's so complicated, you know.
Right.
The oud is complex.
Very.
So, but I think slowly I got to understand a few things. Yani, until today, I don't think I became a top oud player, but at least with my guitar knowledge and my oud knowledge, I'm something in between, hybrid. I'm a hybrid musician.
Hello. I like that title.
Yeah.
And now what do you listen to? Away from all of this career, just you at home.
You'll be surprised. I still listen to what I listened to in the 70s.
Really?
I still have that as a backup because that's my solid base, you know.
I see.
But of course, I listen to a lot of modern jazz music, a lot of guitar music. I listen to everything that comes out.
Okay.
I try to listen, you know, whether it's Western pop, whether it's rock, whether it's Indian music, even Bollywood music.
Yeah.
I listen to things that I might not like, but I listen to understand
what's going on in the market.
What's going on, and what is the latest production quality also, what they're doing, because I compare all the time. I do comparisons between 70s, 80s, 90s, and now. You know, I compare the quality of sound, quality of recording,
mixing,
engineering, things like that, and I check who is doing what, and I follow those people, you know, who are producing and understand what they use, where do they do the work. And it's an industry, you know, so you have to know everything about it.
You were telling me about your projects. Can you explain more why you have different? Because we were talking about personalities as well. I feel like each project of those speaks to different people, speaks to a different audience.
Somehow that's true. The diversity in projects came or started after I started traveling abroad. So when I started, especially when I came to Dubai, all what I had was my band. You know, whether it's a 3-piece band, 4-piece band, you know, trio, quartet, quintet, we call them, fusion. Always I have with me drums, bass, or sax and percussion, things like that. So,
nice.
But since 2008, I started traveling. First trip was to India, and then the year after was Indonesia, and then the year after was China, and then Japan, and then Korea, and started. I mean, since 2009, I already went to Indonesia 15 times.
Oof.
So I toured a lot in Asia. And meanwhile, Europe opened up a bit for me, especially Italy. Germany, France, and England. You know, that's from 2010.
Nice.
But Italy the most. And since that time, after playing like in Umbria Jazz Festival in Italy, or in Java Jazz in Indonesia, or in Japan, or in China at the Asian Games, 2010 Asian Games, I played 2 concerts.
Oof.
So I saw that the crowds are very different, you know. And I understood that maybe that band of mine, the same band, wouldn't really get the same appreciation everywhere. And I had to change a little bit something depending on where I'm playing.
Okay, musically.
musically or sound wise or in the look, or have that band and have another project that
serves this
yes.
audience. Okay.
But then I thought, well, I shouldn't divide myself too much. I mean, if it's Kamal Musallam, it has to be the same sound, same group. But if I create something else, it has to have its own personality, its own recipe, its own people that is different than my band.
Okay.
So it's another project. It's a completely separate, individual project.
Got it.
So the first thing I did actually was something here in UAE that worked well for this country. It's called the Lulu project, and Lulu comes from pearl, Lulu.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right, because it's the main thing here. Right.
It used to be the culture, you know,
right.
the pearl diving and the Lulu business, etc. So in 2009, while they were doing the WOMAD festival in Abu Dhabi, the idea came up, and I proposed it to Abu Dhabi Authority for Heritage and Culture at that time, ADASH.
Nice.
And they liked the idea, and they supported me to do an album and to open up the WOMAD with this idea, inviting a big folkloric group, Suqur al-Magabil. You know, and they joined me. They gave me a lot of their songs to rearrange and to work them out.
Oof.
So with my band. So I had my band with Suqur al-Magabil, you know, and we called it the Lulu project.
The Lulu project.
So while they do their ayala dance, the stick dance, they sing, they do some poetry, we back them up with music.
Nice.
But music that is fused between their music and my style.
Right.
Yeah. And that became the Lulu project.
Amazing.
15 years ago.
15?
Yeah, 2009. It was 2009, yeah.
So fusion, the idea of merging cultures through music is not new at all. It's been there.
Of course, it's been there. For me, it's been there for a very long time. Yani, if you ask me what are my real influences when it comes to fusion, I will tell you, for example, Hamad Abdul Wahab. That's fusion.
Big one, yeah.
You know, that's what he did in composing and arranging music, in adding electric guitar, adding those Western instruments. That's fusion. Saxophone, keyboards. Hatta what he did with Kulthum was different than the old stuff. And people followed him. Abdul Halim Hafiz the same. If you listen to Qarat al-Finjan, you hear,
synthesizer,
the organ.
Yeah.
You hear the saxophone and you hear the guitar, electric guitar.
Right.
طبعا the next influence, a major influence, is Ziad Rahbani. طبعا Rahbani brothers, of course, his father and his uncle, but what they did with Fairuz was amazing. But what Ziad did, and listening to it at 10 years old was like, wow. Especially the song Ahadir al-Bosta. When I listened to that version that he did, because he has two versions.
Yes.
One in the theater play, play, which is very simple. But the second version he did with all these instruments, the electric guitars, electric bass.
Experimental.
Yes, it was wow.
Yeah.
What is that? You know,
at that time, it was a miracle. Yes.
I listened to this in 1980, I think, or 1981, or something like that, and before everyone here was born.
Wow. What do you think of today's modern? I don't want to say pop, because now I would like to integrate the idea of contemporary pop, or however they would like to call us, indie pop. But how would you rate us, if I may ask?
When you say rate us, who's us?
The indie scene, basically, which is now becoming the new pop.
Okay. Look, there are so many great initiatives, great artists, great voices. Talent will always be there. Humanity is full of talent. It's how you shape it and where you go with it and how much you work on it. Talent alone is not enough. You know, you have to shape it up. You have to study. You have to understand what happened before you. And there's no harm in copying anyone. When we copy, we learn.
I see.
And then do your thing. Because nothing comes from nothing.
Renovation.
Nothing comes from zero.
Right.
So, what I like is that there is a new vibe, there is new blood, there is new ideas. But what I don't like is that they think they invented something. They didn't invent anything. You reshape things and you put them your own way and in your own spirit, and you put a signature on them. But nothing comes from nothing. So what I'm trying to tell people, work harder on your art, make it better. Keep sculpting it. Keep sculpting it. Keep making it better. Don't just do something and say, "Oh, okay, this is it," and throw it on the public. There is so much out there. There's so much, but not everything is good. I mean, if I have to select, no more than 10% that is really meaningful and really good art. Good art. I always say not only art, but good art. Good art is an art that has. Remember Michelangelo when he sculpted? He didn't just break the stone and finish and this is it. No, he kept sculpting and sculpting and sculpting and sculpting until it's perfect.
Right.
So try to. I don't want people to become perfectionists. It's not that I am perfectionist, but try to go further, push further. Don't stop there and say, "This is my art. I'm tired. I go home and this is for you."
Yeah.
No, respect the ears and the eyes of your crowd, of your audience. These are people who can feel if it's good or not. Even if you try to, convince them it's good, but at some point they will discover no.
Does it ever cross your mind when you hear, let's say, I don't know, a musical piece or a song, and you think this song is absolute, sorry for the word, it's absolute shit, but you know what's funny is that a lot of people are listening to this song. What, as a musician, as an artist, what comes to your mind in that particular moment? Like, what do you feel like people, like, why do you feel like people consume stuff like that?
Yes, it's
Is it because they're not? Because I believe today, especially today, I'm 26. I believe the audience is actually really smart. They're very intelligent.
Born 98.
98.
Year of the Tiger in Chinese astrology.
The what?
Year of the Tiger.
Tiger. I like it. Does that mean we're?
I'll tell you later after that.
Interesting. Okay. So I believe they're actually really intelligent, and I believe the more you listen to the audience, the more you will probably cater better to them. But my question is, when there's a particular, I don't know, reaction to a song that we both know is not good, how are they any different from us?
Okay. If the question is why there is so much reaction, why there are so many views, or why people press like immediately
on something that is not good art.
Yeah, because you succeeded in hitting their basic instincts, their physical thing, whether it's through their senses or through their desire to feel something they're asking for all the time. It's a consumable thing. They want something fast. They want fast food, and you gave them that, and they put like on it. But after a while, they'll get bored of it, and they'll move to the next one. You didn't hit their soul. You didn't hit their spirit. If you did that, they might not even put a like, but they'll keep listening to it again and again and again and every day, because it's feeding up their soul. So I don't look at the likes. I don't care. I've done. I don't have many followers on social media. I'm not normal, but I'm doing big shows. I'm traveling. I'm doing the business, the proper music business.
Right.
I'm working with big names. I'm doing all that. That what counts for me.
I see.
But the likes and the number of followers, and it's a funny world we live in. It's like how many things I have at home, how many likes I have on Instagram, how many. It's all about quantity.
It's the digital.
So again, we go back to the basic questions. Is it quality or quantity? Is it content or is it numbers? So if you have both, then chapeau, you hit the maximum possible. Yeah. But if it's just about having millions of likes and followers and but then when you do a live show, there is only 50 people there. So what? Well, But Kamal, let's put in consideration that the general culture, the general appreciation culture and the taste, general taste, has dropped a lot. It's a matter of education.
Why?
How much of a music education is there at home, in the school, at the teenage, at the age of child to teenager? How much are they listening to good music? What do they know about what happened in the last 30 years? They're just following the last 1 year maximum.
Right.
So why they don't know about the rest? Why in the Western world they absolutely teach them about still Mozart and Beethoven and Bach, and they have to know, and they have to know the history, and they have to listen, because they care about the legacy of their ancestors.
Right.
And they really want the child to know about it. Now, it's up to him to choose what to listen to later, because everybody is internet is there. You have accessibility to everything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Our children also have the accessibility to all that, but let's also feed them with our ancestors' legacy, musical legacy, artistic legacy, whether it's music or art or theater or everything.
Do you ever consider teaching?
I taught before.
Yeah.
But now, since time constraints, I don't have time to teach as one-to-one. So I give workshops and seminars and things like that.
But you can't choose this as your main career, right?
No.
You will.
No. It's a career on its own. Teaching,
right.
You have to have time for it.
Do you long for shows? Do you miss shows, or do you feel relieved when you've crossed out some shows and you're back home? What's your what's Kamal's?
Depends on the shows. Some shows are really tough. And when they're finished, like the one we just did, I needed a week after that.
Oof.
To just
a week. You don't touch any instrument.
No, I touch my instruments. Okay. This will never leave me. Always with me.
All right.
But not to talk to people who were involved in the show, whether musicians, or management, or whatever. Just stay away, because you need to have the synthesis. You need to filter all what's been said, what's been exchanged, hundreds of emails and WhatsApp and all that. Too much talking.
Too much information.
If it was only music, I would not be tired. But actually, I get tired from
the business aspect.
The over communication that happens before the show.
Yeah.
It's a 1 hour show, right? But 5 months preparation for 1 hour. So imagine how much has been said, and you need to clean up your mind and filter and get ready for the next one.
Do you ever get bored of your string instruments, especially the guitars?
Never. Never.
Is there an instrument that you would want to explore? Wind instruments, maybe.
I have at home one trumpet.
Oof. I actually tried the clarinet. I felt like my lungs were not built for stuff like that.
You know why I said trumpet? Why I have trumpet? Because the trumpet has only 3 keys.
Right.
Nothing, that's it. So you have to generate 12 notes
from you. Yeah.
From the 3 keys.
Okay.
And how you blow and where you put your finger and all that. Not like a guitar or not like a saxophone with all these keys.
Right.
Only 3 keys on a trumpet. So it's one of the hardest instruments.
Wow.
And it helps you to understand music in a linear way. Meaning, a guitar, the notes are on top of each other. If you have a chord like that, I can show you.
Yeah, please.
But I mean,
this is a little too technical, but it's good information.
Yes. So let's say everybody knows what the guitar is. I will keep the mic. Oops. Like that. So guitar has 6 strings and has all these frets, which are the notes. So a trumpet would look like just one string, only one string with all the notes like that. So you don't have the opportunity or the facility to go on notes like this. So if you want to play, for example, if you want to play a phrase on a trumpet, it has to be like this. Yeah, but on a guitar it can be like this. You can use 2 strings or more.
Right.
So but the fact that when you use only one, you see the music, you see that how long, you see the distances. So a trumpet player, he knows the distances of music.
I see.
Guitarist is fooled by this.
All right, got it.
Most guitarists don't think about the distances. They think about the shapes. Like, is it? They think about chords, you know. Because it's a harmonic instrument. It's like a piano. It's an instrument where you accompany.
Okay.
Accompany the singer or the soloist.
Or the instrument.
So a guitar can accompany a trumpet, but a trumpet cannot accompany a guitar.
No.
You know? Yeah.
Wow.
That's a linear instrument. This is a more of harmonic
Interesting.
instrument.
Good to know.
Mm.
Can you tell us more about your family?
My family?
Yeah.
Sure.
Are they musical like you? Are they...
Yes.
Do you like... it's like sounds like a movie. Do you sit around the table and you sing together and you...
No. They're not musicians in the proper sense, but they all love music. Mm-hmm. As I said, my mother was a lover of many kinds of music. Yeah. And my father too was. My mother had more diverse knowledge of music. You know, she listened to a lot of different things, from Arabic to Western to French, Spanish, etc. And my father was more into folklore, especially Palestinian folklore. Of course. You know, all the villages music. Dabki, kaza.
The chants and the...
Yes, the chanting, the dancing, the dabki, he loved that. He lived there, you know. He's upraised with that. And my brother is a big fan of electronic music. Oof. You know. Electronic, hardcore, electronic house, etc. Wow. All the genres of music. He's a specialist.
Do you like electronic?
Sometimes,
does it not give you a headache?
Well, I like to discover, like I said. I when they exposed here and they brought like Van Buren or I went to see, you know, to check what the hell is going on.
Like what moves
why
those
people are so attracted to one person there. He's like sorry to say, he's like a saint or a prophet standing there and just pressing buttons, and they are going crazy.
Maybe sometimes not even pressing anything.
Yeah, just acting as if.
Just acting as if. It's insane.
But these guys are very smart, and I mean they work on beats and frequencies and speeds and all that, and they know what they're doing. You know.
I think it's really more the science and the biology of the body. How. Yeah. Like I watched this video from...
They work on BPM, you know, the heartbeat.
Yep. Yeah. I was just going to say.
Yeah, of course.
And it just keeps you hooked because they don't just go rave for an hour or two. They rave.
And they keep...
The entire day.
They bring it up. So they start as a slow, at your heart rate, and they bring it up. So you go up with it. So you get hyper.
Wow.
You know?
It's insane.
And so they start to control the situation then. Yeah.
Do you feel like the audience of electronic music will ever like our music and vice versa?
Yes, I think many people listen to both worlds. You know, they're not. Okay, there are people who only listen to that, or some people only listen to death metal. You know, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect those choices, but there are people who are very diverse, and they in the morning they need one thing, in the evening they need another. You know, it depends on their mood. It depends where they are. Depends if they're outgoing with a big crowd or just alone at home. They choose different music. I mean, some people, when they're at home, they'll just like to listen to classical music, very classical. Yes. But when they go to clubbing, it's all dance and it's all. And I think there's no one type of people, you know.
Interesting.
Yes.
Do you mind if people play your guitars? Or do you have this kind of connection with the...
You want to play my guitar?
I would love to.
Of course.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a person that
Look,
gets
it's already
broken.
And
it's been places. Yeah. I'm the kind of person who goes like, don't touch my instruments. So I would understand. Yeah, let's jam. Ready?
It's
So
pleasure.
nice having you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Wow.
Wow, this is a masterpiece, guys. What was the greatest collab you did? Something you're so proud of.
My God, I'm proud of all of them. Well, the latest one was just 5 months ago with Hans Zimmer when he
Nice.
came with his orchestra to play 2 shows in Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai. I was invited as a guest to play one song on Oud.
Wow.
It was the last song, the encore, you know.
Wow.
And that was a great moment for me because I spent 3 days with them, you know, looking what's going on backstage and how they do things. It was a learning curve, absolutely.
Wow.
And then one of my greatest moments was with Sting,
Thing.
2016. It was a very special collaboration because we have a friend in common, Bobby
Okay.
Sager. He's a photographer, famous photographer. And Bobby called me suddenly and said, I'm in the desert with Sting.
Okay.
And in 2 days, he has a show in Dubai and we need an Arabic percussionist. Can you help? So I said, let me try. So I called everyone. It was high season for musicians and nobody was available.
Wow.
But a friend of mine who plays Indian tabla was in Dubai, passing by, staying in my home. And idea came to mind. I said to Bobby by text, I said, listen, ask Sting, would he be okay to have an Indian tabla and oud instead of Arabic percussion? I mean, instead of 1, 2. And I waited hours and hours, and suddenly he came back with a message, yes, let's do it.
Nice.
And can you come tomorrow to the World Trade Center to meet us?
Yeah.
Okay. So I told the Indian tabla guy, he didn't believe. I said, no, we're going tomorrow morning to meet Sting
Wow.
and make this happen. Finally, we went, we practiced for 1 day, and then the next day was the show.
Wow.
And it was impromptu. And Sting said it on stage. He said, we just met last night and we're going to try this, you know.
Okay.
Together. So we played Desert Rose, basically.
Desert Rose. Okay.
Yes, yeah, in an unplugged version, which is on YouTube.
Would love to watch that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's there. And it was a nice experience. I mean, he did it in a totally different way. Slow in the beginning and then speeded it up and all. It's kind of, people say, it's another song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I have other collaborations that are very interesting as well. And with Yo-Yoma, with George Benson, with Bobby McFerrin. You know, don't worry, be happy.
Of course. Oof.
So I did 3 concerts with him in 2009, already 15 years ago. We did in Abu Dhabi and Al-Ain.
Al-Ain is my hometown.
Really?
That's where I grew up.
Ah.
Wow, I didn't know. When was that?
2009. Were you born there?
1998. I was. I think I was just a little kid.
You were just 10 years old.
That's so interesting.
It was an amazing concert as well because we invited also a choir of children from schools in Abu Dhabi, and we trained them how to sing behind him. You know, or otherwise him singing on top of them. You know, like called the Circles. It's a project he did.
Nice.
And then I did a duet with him as well, and we did several things. You know. And we invited also the folklore dance group.
Interesting.
Because at that time I was making my Lulu album.
Right.
So I combined things, you know.
My last question for you is, in another world, in a parallel world, what would Kamal be doing? Would you have chosen a different career or a different job? Is there something you wanted to try, maybe?
I wouldn't know, but please keep a guitar with me.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, good to know.
In all
so you
cases,
would carry a guitar with you?
Yes, I'll keep it on my side. I wouldn't know how that world will look like. Can I make a career in music in that world or not? Or do I have something else to do? Maybe I would be a butterfly.
Yeah.
But then please give me something to play on.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you play the ukulele, by the way?
A little bit, not. It's too small for my hands.
Yeah.
It's too small for my hands.
Thank you, Kamal. It was so nice having you.
And also, I tried to play the violin.
Really?
I have one at home.
Violin is
but
really
it's
hard.
too small for my hands. You know,
yeah, violin.
I should take a cello or something. It's bigger.
Or what is it called? The big bass?
The double bass.
Double bass.
Cello. You know, I love instruments. I have so many instruments at home.
Yeah.
Even instruments from China, from Indonesia. I collect, you know.
Wow. There's a buzuq or saz, I think. Have you tried it?
Yes, I have one at home, of course. It's buzuq. Okay, the Syrian Lebanese one or Syrian Lebanese Palestinian is called buzuq. We call it buzuq.
Okay.
The saz is the Turkish one. They are different.
And the balama?
The baglama is Turkish as well. The baglama is a saz but smaller.
Smaller.
So saz is like that, baglama is like that. You know, smaller. It's the same. But the difference, our buzuq, if you look at it, it has like a oud. It has a hole in the middle.
Like a round, yeah.
Round hole in the middle. The saz, no, it's flattened. And the hole
like
is from the back. Hole is from the back. And the neck is different. The neck of our buzuq is thicker, bigger. The baglama or the saz is thinner and longer.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, our buzuq looks like this.
Right.
And the other one is different.
It has one-sided.
One-sided, yeah.
So you've tried before?
Yeah, I have one at home.
That's amazing.
I have a buzuq, a Syrian one, and I have a saz.
Nice.
Yeah. But I like the buzuq more.
Buzuq speaks to you more.
Yeah, it's a warmer sound.
The other one is a bit sharp.
Bit sharp for me. Yeah. In general, even the Turkish oud has a sharper tone. They tune it differently also. It has a sharper tone. It's smaller in size than our oud, which is a little bigger. It has more bass.
Interesting.
You know? Especially the Egyptian one is the biggest.
Egyptian one.
Yeah. The Iraqi oud is closer to the Turkish in tonality. It's even more sharp. Because the Iraqis have another style, which is strings tied to the back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have two types. They have the normal one, like Syrian, but they have also the one with strings tied to the back, which is really high pitch.
That's interesting.
You know, you can go a higher octave. I mean, we tune C to C, do to do. They tune fa to fa, so it's higher.
I see.
You know,
interesting information. I never knew that.
The Egyptian one is lower, like bass. You know, like when you listen to Farid Atrash oud, bass. It's deep.
It's deep, yeah.
It's rakhim, yani.
Right.
You know.
Why do we have different instruments? It's supposed to be Arab, no? Like, why do we?
No, Arab. The word Arab for me is, yani, it's too simplistic. Yani, Arab is diverse. You know, it's large. We have a language that we share, language, religion, all that. But I mean, the local cultures are so different. The traditions of northern Syria are different than, you know, south of Jordan or Egypt or Tunisia, or very different.
Yeah.
Because that's why I went for so many different projects, because the moment the geography changes, weather changes, natural scenery changes, many things follow. Whether it's food, whether it's art, whether it's sounds and music, they follow that changes. Geographical and climate and all that. Geography and climate influences, the environment influences our artistic production, our expression.
Right.
You know, when you're in Africa and it's hot and you want to hit something, you know, so that's why there's a lot of percussion there.
Makes sense.
It's beats and percussion, and it's humid and it's hot and it's, you know, when it's too cold and you're in north in Sweden or in you just want something very simple and very minimalistic, and then two notes and a pang, and then you have the sound of the ice.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
You know, when you're in Asia and it's so colorful and the jungles and the, you know, wild. So also you have sounds that follow that, you know, like in Indonesia. Oh my God, it's so diverse. The gamelan, the Javanese, so many different sounds that I've never heard anywhere else.
Oof.
India, that's another world. The Indian, South India is famous for the percussion also, because also hot and humid, the Indian tabla. North Indian is famous for the string instruments like the sitar and the sharod and rubab and all these. You know. So I think geography, climate affects us a lot.
Interesting.
What we do.
Thank you for sharing all that information.
And I want to show you the last thing I brought.
Please.
Which is
I love those toys.
My toy from another planet.
You said this came out when?
This came out in 2010.
Okay.
from Ibanez in Japan, and it was my Oriental guitar where I could play on electric guitar what I could play on oud.
Can you show us?
Yeah, sure.
Electric oud. Wow.
So since you play guitar,
Yeah.
you know what the guitar can do, right? So we can play normal chords. Scales, or we can play Arabic scales.
Oh my God. Wow.
Right?
How did that happen? How did you?
Okay, good question. My first trial was on a normal guitar where I took frets from here, and I wanted to put them here to grate the quarter tone, which is the Arabic sika, the quarter tone. And that idea came to me late 80s when I saw someone very important to me who made it before, not the first one. I didn't invent this. You know. It was Omar Khorshid.
Ah, okay.
The famous Egyptian electric guitarist who unfortunately passed away at an early age.
Yeah.
But Omar Khorshid was playing pop and rock and all that until Muhammad Abdul Wahab called him and said, listen, I want you to play electric guitar in Kulthum music, and I want to hear the Oriental thing, you know. So I think he was the first to try that.
That's so cool.
And I caught that and I developed it. But then when I was playing this brand, Ibanez, in Japan, I talked to them. I said, why don't we do a whole guitar like that, like a whole fingerboard, not just the first one or two, to design something that can serve a bigger purpose. And so it took us a few years of discussions, you know, because they didn't understand, why do you want to put frets here and here and here and here. You know? So I had to explain to them, I had to show them the oud, how it works, what is Arabic scale, what are the Arabic scales, and why on guitar, because guitar has a different tuning than oud.
Right.
You know? So we had to put the extra frets in special positions, you know. But finally, we came to a final design, which is this, where you can apply most of the common Arabic scales, you know, on an electric guitar. So because with an electric guitar, you can use the pedals, the effects, the distortions, the things, so you can have an electric guitar sound. So for electric guitarists, this is another world. This is a discovery. This is something they can explore. And actually, this guitar sold more in Western countries than in Arab countries.
Oof.
In USA, Australia. One of very famous Australian Turkish pop singers named Bure. He was the first to buy one before he got famous, you know, in 2012, I think.
So you kind of solved that problem, essentially.
Anyway, yes, for many of them who were looking for something, you know, different and made in a factory, not made at home or made, you know. So this was the solution, yes. So this came out in 2010. It was the KM1. And it stayed in the market for a few years, and then it was a limited edition, so we stopped it after a few years. Discontinued, yeah.
This felt like a crash course for me. Thank you.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure, Ghaliaa, to meet you and to speak to you, and I'm going to discover more of your music as soon as I get out of here.
Would love your feedback. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
شو رأيك بهالجيل دوخ الكل شو خطير تعال نحكي عن جيلي وجيلك ونسمع جنواو للأخير